Yeah, I am a man, up in the air. And I run.
It's Asha. So I've done a few videos in the past where I talk about like certain stories. I've done one on a bunch of embarrassing stories, and then I've also done one on my car crash experience, and you guys seem to really like them, so I thought I'd do another one today. It's going to be about the time my car got stolen, or well, it was actually my family's car. So let's just get into it. So starting out, I was probably about 10 years old at the time. My family and I had just moved from Sydney to Queensland, and when we were living in Sydney, we lived in kind of not a rough area, but I mean, you just have to be careful with your stuff. Always lock your house, always lock your car. Yeah, don't leave things lying around, because there were a few sketchy people around. And we moved to a really quiet little town in Queensland that was really, really safe, and I guess we kind of just relaxed too much. So my parents kind of made a silly mistake one day and left their keys in the ignition of their car, just because we lived in such a safe area and we thought it wouldn't be a problem. Don't do that. No matter how safe the area that you live in is, do not leave your keys in the ignition of your car and lock your car. So one night, it was probably about midnight, I remember waking up because my room was closest to the front of the house. I remember waking up to these footsteps and this male voice, and then I heard my family's car ignition start, and I kind of woke up and was startled and was like, oh, what was that? And then I was like, oh no, like, you're being stupid, you're hearing things, you're half asleep, or like, oh no, dad's probably just gone somewhere, I don't know. I fell back asleep, didn't really think of it, and then 2 hours later, there was a knock on the door, and I woke up and my dad got up and we went to the door, and it was the police, and they were like, is your name blah blah blah? My dad was like, yeah. They were like, do you own this car? And he's like, yeah. And they were like, we just found it in Beerburrum. And Beerburrum is like an area in like the bush, probably about 40-50 minutes away from where we lived. And my dad was like, what? And they were like, yeah, some guy was driving your car in Beerburrum, and we pulled him over and he jumped out of the car and ran away. And my dad was like, oh my god, that's crazy. We got the car back the next day, but all of the stuff that was originally in the car was now gone. And there was a lot of stuff in there. There was 2 surfboards, my dad's surfboards, my mum's like phone, my sister was a baby at the time, so like her car seat, tons of stuff in like the glove box, and it was all missing. And yeah, so probably a very bad mistake to leave the keys in the ignition, parents. Do not do that, because it's bad. So yeah, we got the car back and there was nothing in it. I can't really remember what happened with the guy, but I think when they pulled him over, he kind of freaked out and he like jumped out of the car and ran away. And funny story, he was an idiot and he left his wallet and a recording from the last time he went to court in the car. Like, how dumb can you get? If you're gonna steal a car, do not leave the recording from the last time you got in trouble with the police in the car, because seriously, like, come on. So anyway, all of the stuff in the car was missing, and I can't really remember what happened with the guy, because they found out who he was, but I can't remember what happened with if he told them where the stuff was, but I don't think he did. I think it was about a week later, and my parents got a phone call and they answered, and it was the police, and they were like, we have one of your surfboards. And my dad was like, whoa, what? And they were like, yeah, there was a lady, she was walking down this track close to your house. There's all these really tall like bushes, and she saw a glimmer in the bush, and she went in, and it was my dad's surfboard cover, like the shiny silver cover. And so yeah, dad got one of his surfboards back, and we were like, well, if that surfboard was down there, then maybe all of the other stuff from the car was down there. So we went down to this place. It was probably about like a 3-minute drive from our house, and started roaming into these bushes and ended up finding pretty much everything that was in the car, and got all the surfboards back, my mum's stuff back, my sister's car seat. It did end up being really, really lucky that we got everything back. Yeah, but I think the lesson learned there was, do not leave your keys in the ignition of your car, no matter what safe area you live in, because there are still sketchy people around. So yeah, that is my story for today, about the time my parents' car got stolen and we lost heaps of stuff, but ended up getting everything back. So it was a happy ending in the end. Make sure you give this video a a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!